Okay, what's up there, YouTube? Okay, so today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about, I always laugh. I don't know why I laugh when I say what's up there, YouTube. Anyway, I'm talking to you guys a little bit about this Viltrox 24mm 1.8 Z lens that I got for my Nikon Z cameras. It works on the Z50, the Z6s, Z7, Z6 II, Z7 II, Z5s, what are the Z9. It works on all the Z cameras with autofocus. So the autofocus works brilliantly. It focuses just like my, basically it focuses exactly the same as my Z85 f1.8 S lens, the Nikon S lens, and it's a little bit smaller. Obviously, this one's like a half an inch taller, and it's not quite as wide as you can see, but it's very similar in size, and I mean not size, but in build quality. The build quality is about the same. This has a little Nikon badge on the side, little nothing. It's good. The Nikon one has the auto and manual switch right here, auto manual switch. While this one, the Viltrox doesn't have an auto manual switch, but it does have a clickless iris. So it's got an iris dial, if you can see right here. See the iris? It's got the iris dial, the aperture ring, and it's clickless. So when it's clickless, I call it an iris. That's a video term, but it's the aperture ring. It has the markings for aperture settings for all the aperture, but if you want to put it in where the camera controls it, you put it in A, and then from that point you just turn the dial in the back and it's clicky. So I can kind of see why that wouldn't need to be clicky on the lens itself, so that if you're using it with for video and you want to smoothly adjust the iris or the aperture, you can slowly move from say 1.8 to 2.8 or whatever, just slowly move a little bit and you don't notice it clicking and jumping. So, and you don't get a sound of the click sound either. It's real quiet. So if I'm shooting with this, it's not going click, 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 click as I'm adjusting the iris like it does on the back, which you can hear. So you can hear that click, but if I turn the dial, you don't hear anything. So it's pretty much silent. So it's real handy for if I'm sitting there shooting and I want to adjust the iris, I can just turn the dial real slow. Focus ring's in the front. It's nice and big, just like the 85 has a big focus ring on the front of it. But anyway, I tried it. I took this thing out. I bought an ND, variable ND filter for it, and I threw it on there. I did a shot at the beach without the ND filter the first day, and it was just too bright, and I had to, to shoot at 1.8, you had to shoot it at 5.6 or f11 or something to keep it from, going crazy with the shutter speed when you're shooting video. That's not really the ideal thing. So I put a variable ND filter on it, cranked it down, got it nice and dark, and left it at 1.8, raised the shutter speed up, dropped the ISO down, and it looked pretty good. So I'm going to show you guys some shots of it, vlogging with this camera and this setup, just like this. And real quick, I'm going to swap the lens now and go back to, right now I'm shooting on the 24-70 f4, which is basically the kit lens, but it's not really a kit lens because it's much better than a kit lens, than any other kit lens I've ever used. Those are usually cheap plasticky pieces of junk. That's not. That's actually a very good lens. And I talk about that in one of my other videos, how good that f4 lens is. And honestly, with enough light and stuff, like right here, it looks great. But when I switch to this lens, I'm not going to change anything on the camera. I'm just going to take that lens off, put this lens on, and drop the ISO. So right now I'm shooting at ISO, I think I'm at ISO, I can't see it because it's not showing up right now. It's recording. It's not showing up on the app. It's just recording. But I think it's at ISO 500 or 640 or something, like ISO 640, even with the lights on in here with at f4. So when I drop it down, I'm not going to change the lights, but I am going to drop the ISO down, and I might have to drop the lights because it might be way too bright in here. So let me change it out now and let you guys know what it looks like, and this is what it's going to look like. So real quick, so I just changed to the Viltrox This is at 1.8. I dropped the ISO from, it was at 500, 640 down to 100. So all I did was change it down to 100. And you can see that the things in the background are a little bit more blurred because it's at f1.8. So this is the exact same, you know, nothing else changed but the lens in this situation. So I think it did a fantastic job. In general, this Viltrox lens, it focused real fast, caught the eye almost immediately. It's capturing my face right now and sticking right to it, even when I move around at the corner of the frame. It's a little bit softer at the edges of the frame at 1.8. Kick it up to f2.8 and it's nice and crispy clear on the edges too. And honestly, if I'm trying to shoot at 1.8, I want to blur the background, and usually I don't have something all the way to the far edge of the screen, like the edge corner that I'm trying to keep sharp, so it really doesn't matter. The only time I want to see real sharp edges, the far edges of the screen, if I'm doing like a landscape shot or something like that, and in that case I would probably raise it up to, you know, f5.6 or something anyway to get a nice wide landscape shot. So for creating shallow depth of field with a lot of nice soft blurred background bokeh, it makes more sense to it doesn't really, you're going to shoot at f1.8, and in that case you don't really mind if the edges are soft, because you want the background to be soft off to the, like over to the edges of this frame over there and over here, over my head over here. You want that to be soft and blurred out. You want the stuff back there to be blurred out, like my computer screen back, my computer back there is blurred out. So this video, I shot this thing 3 times. This is the 3rd time I've attempted shooting this thing. I was going to have it ready for you guys like last week I started shooting it, and I shot it once, and I had my Purple Panda Lavon plugged into this camera, and I had just bought a power adapter battery eliminator for this camera so that I can shoot things like this and not have to sit here and constantly worried about whether or not the battery's charged. So I just plug it in, I plug the camera in, and I was using this. Well, apparently it's causing some kind of, when it's plugged into the main power, it's got a hum to the audio. There's a hum in it. So you don't hear it unless it's plugged in, because I'm not using the audio on camera, I'm using this audio. But in that case, I was using the microphone and it was humming, and I didn't notice it until I went to edit it. I was like, oh my God, it's humming. So now I got to try it again. So I took it off and I started recording with this. Well, the first attempt recording with this, I recorded this entire video and Adobe Audition crashed. And it just did it again. I was just shooting, so I fixed Audition, started it again, started recording, and Audition crashed again. The first time it crashed after I recorded, and I went looking for the audio, and the audio was blank that I saved. It crashed on export. Well, this time I'm using Studio One, and which is actually has the compressor and all that stuff built right in for vocal recording. So actually it'll probably sound better anyway. It's made for audio recording like this, so it's probably going to do a better job. So I'd rather just use Studio One anyway, and that way I can monitor and see how I want my audio to sound as it's going in, and kind of bake the compressor and stuff on the input to make it sound, so I don't have to do it in post, which really doesn't matter to me if I do it in post anyway. So let's take a look at the pictures and the video and get back to you right now. So let's go look at them. Let's take a look at some of these pictures and see what we got here. So this first few, I was taking them indoors. I was just trying. This is my granddaughter, and it was on this eye, and it's sharp considering, what was this at, ISO 1000, matrix manual, f1.8, ISO 1000. These are fairly clear even at ISO 1000. I'm looking at this in NX Studio, which is the Nikon software. So these were just, you know, I was just practicing with the lens. Her eye was clear, but this is still ISO 8000, auto ISO. On our granddaughter on their eyes, that's nice and clear. That was at ISO 320, auto ISO. Aperture priority, I had it set to aperture priority, f1.8. And what it was, I had the ISO to 360, but I had the shutter at 1/8,000th of a second because of the sun. So I got I grabbed a variable ND filter, which I like to use, so I don't have to go so high. For photos, it's not a big deal, but for videos, you definitely want to have a. So this is. I think it was on her eyes. Yeah, it had captured her eye. You can see her glasses perfectly clear. They're slightly different. When you're at 1.8, I could have shot these at much higher. These are all at f1.8. You can see the aperture right here, f1.8. I started messing around, getting some a little bit better pictures, but these are all clear on her eye. These are all clear. These all look clear. Go away. Playing at the beach, and they were laying down. These didn't come out good. I don't like those. And I got them standing by the water. That was good. And this is where it was on auto area AF, 1/4000th of a second. Auto ISO at 320. Let's see. I gotta change the copyright on my camera. It says 2020. sRGB. I don't see anything. I don't see anything else. But you can see it's the Z6 with a Viltrox 24 1.8 Z lens. I just wanted to take a look at these real quick. Then I'll show you some of the video here in a second. So this is at f1.8. No, this is at f3.2. So I bumped it up a little bit. ISO 100. Much better. I started controlling the camera manually to get these shots a little bit better. And they're clear. Yeah, they're real clear. They grabbed the eye and focused real fast. So these were very clear, very good shots. Even with the shade. So I focus on her. You can see that she's real clear. Actually, right about here is where the camera was focused. Right about here at f3.2. So it got most of her shoulder, this side of her, but you can see my other granddaughter. She's blurry in the background. So I should have shot that at f6 or higher, 5.6 or higher. As long as they're in the same parallel line, it looks fine. But as soon as you start going out there, I got just some wide shots so you can see how wide it looks. It looks good. This clear, the sky's all clear, everything's clear. There's no, even in the corners of the image are fairly sharp, but that, you know, even at f1.8, this is f2.8. I bang these off at f2.8. It's a whole bunch of them. These are f2.5. I was just adjusting the wheel on the lens, which is really nice to have. And this is the beach, people. This is like a couple minutes up from my house, but see, I got them pretty clear right here. Then I shot my granddaughter holding her thing. So you can see I'm holding the camera sideways. That's pretty clear. What's this? 2.8. So there it grabbed her eye. Got her eye pretty sharp, f2.8. You can see that her hand, this is blurry, where she's holding the sand out, but her face is clear. So that was a pretty cool shot. You can get rid of that, edit that out. Let's see, I think I edited it out in a picture there. No, she was in the water. But you can see this is at f2.8 still. I got my other granddaughter standing there. This is f2.2. And I got some close-up shots here. f2.2. f2.2. Hanging on some rocks. That's more of my granddaughter playing in the water, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I think the images are more than acceptable. Now let's look at some of the video I shot with some vlogging shots I did here. I'm walking with it just to show you what it's like to walk with the Viltrox 24mm 1.8 at 1.8. See, walking down around here. Checking it out. Alright, so now I have a ND filter and I'm vlogging with the camera walking around with an ND filter on it with the Viltrox 1.8 at 1.8. This is at 1.8. I threw on a variable ND filter to walk around and see what this thing looks like filming. So this is what it's like to vlog with the camera with the ND filter on it at 1.8. f1.8. So that's what it looks like. It looks pretty good, and I'm hand holding it. I'm just holding the camera with no monopod, tripod, or nothing. See what it looks like. All right, so that was the pictures and videos. So what did you guys think? Viltrox 24mm 1.8, good lens. Listen, this lens was only like $385. I bought it from China. You can buy it from Adorama or B&H and get it like within a week, but it was like an extra 20 bucks. And I was like, well, I'll save 20 bucks. I'm not in that big of a hurry to get the lens in. It's not like I had a shoot that I wanted to do it. I already have 24mm. I just wanted to get it for stuff like this for you guys, for doing the YouTube videos. And so I ordered it directly off of eBay from China, and it was $385 or something like that. And it shipped. It took like almost a month to get here. So that was kind of sucky. I was like, oh, it's going to be here in like a week and a half or 2 weeks. And then it took like a month. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll have to wait until this thing comes in. And then I'll do a video. And then, like I said, I was having all these errors doing the video. So it never worked out until just now. So hopefully this comes out and you guys can see what this lens looks like. Tell me what you guys think about for vlogging like this. Did it look better with I think it looks better like this. I think I've got more background blur. It looks a little bit nicer. I think it looks good in either lens. But this way I don't have to have quite as much light, and I can actually make it, I'm trying to make the shot look, interesting. And it's just one of the things I thought I'd try to do, and that way I don't have to be so far away from the camera either, so it can pick my voice up, make it easier to sync and post with the camera, with the audio from my condenser mic. Anyway, so give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. If there's anything else you want to know about the lens, I just shot it at, just random shots out there, and I thought they came out pretty good. The eyes were clear and stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and talk to you later. Take it easy, YouTube. See ya.